Let's take a look at number 30. It's kind of funny how every one of these says simplify. Unless I just typed it wrong out of the instructions. So 2x to the third minus x squared plus 6 divided by x plus 1. And I think I have that test right here. So let me look to see if I'm just screwed up when I typed all these in. No, 30 says simplify. Okay, well, I'm not. Well, I may be, but not in this case. Now here we're doing polynomial division, and we're dividing by a binomial, two terms. So we can't do the technique where you have one term. What we're going to do is set this up. So I'm going to have x plus 1 into 2x to the third minus x squared plus 6. Now the x plus 1 is fine, so we'll leave it alone. Now what's underneath the division? This has to be in standard form from largest power down to smallest, and it can't be missing any powers. Well, we got 2x to the third. We have an x squared, but you notice we're missing an x. So I'm going to put a 0 placeholder here. I'll put a 0x. And then our no x, or our constant term, at the end there. So we have to have one for each power going down. If it starts with third power, you have to have second power, you have to have the first power, you have to have the no power, the constant term. Well then, we're going to look at the first term of each to decide what to put up on top. You ask yourself what times x gives you 2x to the third, and that would be 2x squared. Now whatever we put up on top there, we multiply by what's out in front. So we're going to take 2x squared times x plus 1. And that's 2x squared times x gives us 2x to the third. 2x squared times 1 gives us 2x squared. So I got 2x to the third plus 2x squared. Now we're going to subtract that line, which means we'll flip the signs. So this becomes negative, and this becomes negative. 2x to the third minus 2x to the third drops away. Negative 1x squared or negative 2x squared gives me negative 3x squared. And depending upon who taught you division, I was taught to bring all this down, but you may have learned that a little bit differently. Now again, we'll look at the first term of each, decide what to put up on top. You ask yourselves what times x gives you negative 3x squared, and that would be negative 3x. Now whatever we put up on top, we multiply by what's out in front. So we're going to take negative 3x times x plus 1. Negative 3x times x is negative 3x squared. Negative 3x times 1 is negative 3x. So I'll put that in there. Now we're going to subtract that line, which means we'll flip the signs. So this negative here becomes a positive. This negative here becomes a positive. Now a lot of you will do that in your head, but I can't show you steps in my head on this little board here, so I'll show it like that. Negative 3x squared plus 3x squared drops away. 0x plus 3x gives us 3x, and I'll bring down the 6. Now again, we'll look at the first term of each, decide what to put up on top. You ask yourself, what times x gives you 3x, and that's 3. And again, whatever you put up on top, you multiply by what's out in front. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 1 is 3. So I'll put that in there. We're going to subtract that line, which means we'll flip the signs. So 3x becomes negative. The 3 becomes negative. 3x minus 3x drops away. 6 minus 3 is 3. Now at this point, this 3 here, and this, if I compare it against the x is degree 1, this is degree 0. When your degree of this becomes smaller, that's your remainder. Because there's nothing I can multiply times x to give me the 3. Now depending upon how they write their answer, they'll either write it as 3 over x plus 1 or they put an r. And this one they put an r. So they put an r3. So 2x squared minus 3x. 2x squared minus 3x plus 3, r3 would be d as in David. So 30d. And it checks. Now let me show you another way of writing the remainder, just in case you have a different book that has it differently. You could write as 2x squared minus 3x plus 3, and we take our remainder, which is 3, and we put it over what we're dividing by. This is actually the most popular way to write it with a remainder in that manner.